I landed in New York after 3 years away, heart pounding like a drum in my chest. The second I stepped off that plane, I felt so heavy inside, like every painful memory was pulling me down. But I wasn't the same soft girl who left. Not anymore. I went straight to my house, the beautiful mansion that used to be my whole world. And when I opened that door, my stomach twisted hard. There was Liam, standing cozy with my brother's fiancée, Mia, and a cute little 4-year-old boy playing at their feet. That sweet kid didn't have a single feature that looked like my brother. My heart shattered into a million pieces right there. That night, I couldn't stay under that roof. I drove to a hotel, locked myself in the room, and cried until my eyes burned. But through all those tears, one thought kept burning brighter than the pain. I came back for my brother's revenge. They took him from me. Now I was going to take everything from them. Next morning, I walked back into that house like a storm. Everything had changed. Mia's whole family was living there like they owned the place. My favorite paintings were gone, furniture rearranged, and the house looked like a damn jungle. The second I stepped inside, everyone froze like they'd seen a ghost. The girl they remembered, the one who wore pink everything, always smiling sweetly even in her 20s, was dead. I stood there, dressed in all black, no smile, just cold fire in my eyes. 3 years of brutal fighting training in hidden gyms had transformed me completely. I was stronger, sharper, and done being nice. "Everybody out," I said, voice calm but deadly. "This is my house." They argued, screamed, called me crazy and heartless, but I didn't flinch. One by one, they started packing their stuff. The little boy burst into tears. "You came to take everything from my mommy." His words hit deep because they were exactly what Mia had been scared of. I tried to comfort him, but he pulled away. Mia smirked and said, "He doesn't go to strangers." I just stared at her until she lowered her eyes and looked away. She knew exactly who I was now. In just 2 days, that spoiled little boy became my best friend. I did it on purpose, playing the cool, fun aunt, buying him toys, listening to his stories, making him laugh, while he was busy giggling with me. I quietly took a few strands of his hair and sent them off for a DNA test. The results came back exactly as I expected. He wasn't my brother's child, but I already knew the truth. Now I had the rock-solid proof in my hands. Liam and Mia had been living the perfect life while I was gone. He was running our family company like it was his own kingdom. A few days later, I walked straight into his fancy corner office without knocking. He jumped up from his big chair, angry. "Don't you have any manners? You can't just barge into anyone's office like that." I laughed, low and cold. "Since when was this your office, Liam?" He froze. The color drained from his face. He really thought after running things for a few years that he owned it all. Poor guy forgot one important detail. He couldn't change the company name, policies, or make big moves without my signature. I smiled sweetly. "Thank you for taking care of my company all this time, Liam." His face turned red with rage. "I spent years of my time and energy here. You can't just come back and say it's yours." But everything he had, the cars, the money, the power, came from my grandfather. Liam was just the driver's son. One day he saved my grandfather's life, and Grandpa took him in like his own. Paid for his fancy education, gave him opportunities most people only dream of, and even arranged for him to become my fiancée when I turned 18. But Grandpa never knew the darkness hiding inside him. When Liam realized I had the real power, his whole tone flipped. "Baby, I was looking for you this whole time. I took good care of your brother's fiancé and his son. Everything will go to the boy when he turns 18. I was just protecting the family." Protecting the family. Bullshit. It was his master plan, to steal everything and hand it to his son. I played innocent, acting all sweet. "You're right, Liam. I'll send the boy abroad for the best education. When he comes back, I'll give him everything, my assets and my brother's too." Mia lost her mind. She screamed and refused. The boy cried his eyes out. But I stayed calm and played the caring aunt. I just want to make his life perfect. Liam stayed quiet. He knew he couldn't fight me. A few days later, I sent their son away to a prestigious boarding school overseas. That evening, I sat on the balcony with a glass of red wine, looking out at the city lights, and whispered to myself, I just took away their most precious thing. Then I started freezing Mia's cards one by one. Her perfect luxury life began crumbling fast. She came storming into the house, shouting, "Why are you doing this to me? I'll kill you." I looked at her with dead eyes. "You're spending way too much. Better start saving for your son." She screamed back, "He's your brother's child. You're supposed to take care of him. I'll buy whatever I want." I smiled. "You know exactly whose money you've been blowing this whole time, right?" When she tried claiming she was still my brother's fiancée, I called my lawyer right there in front of her. "Since you were never legally married to my brother, you have no right to his money or his property." She froze. Then, the real tears started. She grabbed onto Liam, crying harder than I'd ever seen. "I don't want to go back to that small old house." Liam tried to speak up, but shut his mouth the second I gave him one cold look. He knew if he pushed me, he'd be next. They moved out to that tiny old house where Mia's angry family was already waiting. To blame her for losing the big villa, the glamorous life she had dreamed of, the one she had schemed, lead, and murdered for, was crumbling into dust right before her eyes. Mia, once the glittering socialite draped in designer silks and dripping with stolen diamonds, now stared at the ruins of her empire from a cheap motel room that reeked of regret and desperation. No more private jets. No more champagne-soaked galas where she played the perfect fiancé. No more Liam whispering sweet lies in her ear while they toasted to their betrayal. I made sure of it. Slowly. Methodically. I wanted her to suffer. Not just lose it all in one clean strike, but to feel every jagged piece of her fantasy slice into her soul. I watched from the shadows as her carefully curated Instagram facade began to fracture. Followers vanished. Invitations dried up. Whispers turned into accusations. The woman who had laughed while helping Liam drive a knife into my brother's back, woman who had stolen my family's legacy with a seductive smile, was now unraveling thread by thread. She sent Liam that damning video in a panic, the one captured right after the engagement party when their filthy affair had boiled over into murder. Her hands trembled as she hit send, threatening to ruin him unless he helped her destroy me once and for all. "We have to finish this," she hissed in the message. But I already had every copy, every backup, every digital ghost of their crime. I had been 10 steps ahead since the day I rose from the ashes of my grief. Their perfect fake world didn't just collapse, it exploded. I savored every frantic phone call, every screaming match I secretly recorded. Liam turned on her first, calling her a manipulative whore who had dragged him into hell. She fired back with venomous screams, accusing him of being the weak one, the one who had actually plunged the blade. Their alliance, built on lust and blood, shattered like fragile glass under pressure. I fed the flames quietly, anonymous tips to the right people, leaked evidence that painted them both as monsters. Mia's descent was poetic in its cruelty. The woman who once floated through penthouse parties now scavenged for lawyers who wouldn't return her calls. Her flawless face, once airbrushed to perfection, became gaunt and hollow from sleepless nights. She clawed at every remaining connection, begging for mercy that would never come. I wanted her to taste the same helplessness my brother felt in his final moments, the suffocating realization that everything she had built on betrayal was now poisoning her from within. A few weeks later, the authorities closed in. Both Liam and Mia ended up exactly where they deserved to be, behind cold steel bars, stripped of their glamour, their money, and their freedom. Mia's last public appearance was a mugshot, eyes wide with fury and fear, mascara streaking like black tears down her cheeks. No more red carpets, no more lies, just endless days of concrete walls, and the haunting echo of what she had done. That night, I sat in my restored family house, the city lights sparkling below like a crown I had reclaimed. The silence was profound, broken only by the soft hum of justice finally served. They had taken my brother from me in the most brutal, heartless way, but I had taken everything from them deliberately and without a trace of mercy. Revenge isn't always loud and dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, calculated, and the kind that lets you watch your enemies rot while you rise stronger than before. If you've ever lost someone to betrayal and felt that deep, burning need for justice, you're not alone. Drop A if you believe karma always catches up, no matter how long it takes. This is my story from heartbreak and pain to power and peace. Never let anyone steal your light or your future. I came back broken, but I left them destroyed. And that feeling, that felt like real justice.